A breathtaking find in Dorchester County reveals a new piece of information millions of years old that could potentially rewrite history in the Southeast. Let's welcome Skye Basak, co-owner and founder of Palmetto Fossil Excursions, and Dr. Robert Boessenecker, paleontologist and instructor at the College of Charleston. Welcome to you both, and congratulations on this incredible find. So I'm going to ask you, Skye, first. With your excursions, typically what we see here on the table is what you find and what customers that come to you find, but you found something really special recently. Tell us more about this.
So found the first Oligocene-aged rhinoceros fossil in the southeastern United States. I was basically trying to convince my husband and one of our employees that it was worth staying at the pit to continue hunting into the evening, and they were like, no, and I was like, no, really, seriously, and I get down into this big mud pit.
Yeah.
It was a hole that I dug about a month prior, and the sidewall had collapsed, and in a chunk of material hanging off the sidewall was half of a tooth. And as I picked it up, all I could see were the root lobes, and the only thing that popped into my head at the time was that it was most likely going to be a double-rooted whale molar. And as I started to remove the dirt, I was really awestruck and was just like, Josh, this is a rhino tooth. And he goes, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. And I handed it to him, and at that point, he just kind of like looked at me.
You've been digging for neat stuff all your life, so this clearly was a gut feeling that you had. Now, Robert, what does this mean to the history of the Southeast, finding these bones?
So land mammal fossils are not very common here because most of our rocks in the Charleston area are marine, at least before the Ice Age. There's plenty of Ice Age land mammals from here, but these, Ice Age fossils are 100 to a few 100,000 years old. These are approximately 24 million years old or so.
Wow.
All of the rocks of that age are marine, which is why we have so many fossil sharks, bony fish, sea turtle fossils, whales and dolphins, etc. So finding land mammals means generally something has gotten out there via bloat and float. So land mammal dies, maybe falls into a river, bloats up and it's very buoyant, and it floats out to sea, and then it sinks to the sea floor. And that doesn't happen very often. As a matter of fact, this is only, I think, the third or fourth rhino specimen from the entire state. There are 2 teeth, and there's 1 jawbone in a private collection, but this is the first partial skull from the entire state.
So describe the bones for us, because to the naked eye, to the lay person like myself, I don't know what I'm looking at. So what exactly is all of this?
So this is actually part of the rostrum, the upper mouth palate, and this is part of the back of the brain case. So this is actually the zygomatic process. It's a wing-like thing that comes off right here and leads up to where the eye would be.
Otherwise known as the cheekbone.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And then this over here is the roof of the
I think those are the frontal bones. So basically the top of the skull in between the eye sockets. And that's generally very flat and kind of diamond shaped in a rhino.
With this discovery, does this change at all what we assumed our history and our region looked like back that many million years ago, or does it just reinforce what we already know had existed?
To me, we already knew that the Oligocene, there were areas moving inland that were more marsh-like. This just helps fill in the gaps for like paleo-ecotype of land-based fossils.
So you say Oligocene, and what does that mean exactly?
The Oligocene epoch is the first period of time in the age of mammals, so after the extinction of the dinosaurs, where we have typically cold, sort of glacial climate. So Antarctica gets its first terrestrial ice sheets right at the beginning of the Oligocene. So it's cold worldwide, it starts to get arid. You have a bunch of relatives of rhinos that are no longer around go extinct right around the Eocene-Oligocene boundary 34 million years ago. The thing that's really critical when we do get land mammal fossils, it gives us an opportunity to calibrate the land mammal record with the marine fossil record. So land mammals themselves, especially in Western North America, think like Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska, et cetera. We have all these incredible land mammal fossils that are bracketed by radiometrically dated volcanic ash beds. Sometimes there are, in the case of Ashfall Beds State Park in Nebraska, there are completely articulated rhinos with like calves up against the mother, the skeletons embedded in ash that were buried during a single eruption. We don't really have those ash beds that we can date here on the East Coast. Whenever we find a land mammal fossil like this, it allows for what we call a non-marine marine tie-in, and you can take whatever little age differences there are between the two records and fix them.
Interesting. So it just makes everything a bit more precise.
Yes.
As much as you possibly can make it. Does this mean, Skye, that you're going to be digging for more of these types of bones? Do you have hope that you think you can find more of this?
Yes. We do believe that we are going to be able to locate the rest of this animal over the course of the next 4 to 6 months.
Yes.
It's a large project. There's a lot of material to process through, but every little tiny piece counts, and even on days where we don't find anything at all, that's just that much less material we have to go through.
Piece by piece, our history just coming together, and we're able to read that story. It's incredible. Well, thank you so much for finding this and bringing it to us and sharing with our audience. I also want to make sure that people know that there is a Palmetto Fossil Excursions adult day camp. So it's not just for kids, people. This is for adults too. This is happening in September, at the end of September 22nd through the 24th. And we look forward to you finding more stuff and coming back and sharing it with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Absolutely.
We're back after this.